Hi friends, hi viewers. This is Rukmi Devi, which I'm going to discuss about the human physiology, which is the mother of medicine. I'm just helping the students in medicine and also the paramedical students to understand the human physiology. So these are the topics which is in the human physiology, like units such as general physiology, blood, cardiovascular system, respiratory system. So how the inspiration and expiration goes on in the lungs and how it works. After that, the gastrointestinal system, endocrine system, and reproductive system, central nervous system, and also the nerve muscle physiology. And afterwards, that finally the special senses. So each and every person should know about the cell, which why because it is the human body is made up of the single cell. It means so each organ is also formed by a tissue, and if you goes on, so the single cell it works in our body. So this picture is the single cell of the human body. So here the skeletal muscle spindle which works for the our movement. So when we walk and when we talk, so all the skeletal muscles they work together and to show this function. So after that, so in the central nervous system, this is the structural and functional unit of the central nervous system, which is the neuron. So coming to the blood, so in the blood, so there are the three types of cells which function for the nutrition and also to carry the oxygen and carbon dioxide. So which involves the defense mechanism and also the coagulation. So all this type of functions that occur inside our body. That the blood vessels, the blood vessels they contain the blood cells. So RBCs, WBCs. So these are RBCs, red blood cells, and these are the WBCs. So WBCs they doesn't contain any color, but by giving color we can see the WBCs in this manner, and then finally the platelets. So these are all the platelets, so which involve in the coagulation when we get injured by it means the injury of any blood vessel. So the platelets move, the platelets get activated and goes to the injured site and repairs the blood vessel. And this is the cardiovascular system, so which is interrelated between the blood and also the vascular system and also the heart. So this is the modified blood vessel known as heart. So it is a complete muscular and hollow structure which is filled with the blood, and then the pure and impure blood which depends upon the carbon dioxide and oxygen. So here the circulations. So this picture shows the complete blood circulation throughout the body, and then later we'll discuss about in detail. And the circulation at the lungs and the pulmonary circulation at the tissue level, there is a circulation. It means the capillaries, tissue capillaries. So how the sinusoids they allow the cells into the tissues and how they utilizes the oxygen. So all these things we can read it in this chapter. And then coming to the respiratory system, so here the respiratory system it involves in the respiration. Respiration is nothing but one respiratory cycle, that is nothing but the inspiration and expiration. It means the inspiration, the inhaled oxygen, how it is loaded at the tissues, and then how it is unloaded at the tissue level, and how the carbon dioxide is loaded at the tissue level, and again how it comes out. So all those things you can study it under the respiratory system. So here the lungs, the trachea, they work together for the respiration. So coming to the gastrointestinal system. So here this system uh, starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. So these are all the organs. So stomach. So here the esophagus continuation with the stomach, and then initiates the small intestine, and this is the small intestine, and this will be the large intestine. So all these big structures we can know it later in detail, and the functions also we can study it. And also this is the liver. So liver, it also in the inferior surface, it also contains the bile. So bile juice which is formed inside this liver and later which is stored in the bile gallbladder. So in the form of bile, it again secreted at the second part of the duodenum. So all these things. So how the digestion and the absorption and the gastric juices, it means the digestive juices, how it secretes through and then how they works. So all together we can know it later. And then coming to the endocrine system. So as we know that we have the brain, and it also contains the pituitary gland, it secretes the hormones and how it controls the other glands to secrete other hormones. So specific hormones are secreted from the adrenal glands, thyroid gland, and then pancreas, tail of the pancreas, and the testis, ovaries. So reproductive organs also can secrete the hormones like testosterone, estrogen. So we can study it later in detail. And then coming to the reproductive system is nothing but after the fertilization of the ovum and sperm. So it forms a zygote, and so gradually the pregnancy it occurs. So later we can study the intrauterine life. So it comes under the embryology, but we are not studying it in detail. But we are studying only the physiological changes that occur in pregnancy and how the fetus forms and how the fetal circulation. Afterwards we can study about the functions of placenta. So all this together we can read in this chapter. Now coming to the central nervous system. So this is the brain and spinal cord. Combinedly we call it as central nervous system. So peripheral nervous system. So completely nervous system involves as peripheral nervous system and autonomic nervous system. So autonomic means which is autonomous. So it is controlled by the brain, but it also supplies all the viscera of the body. And then the spinal nerves which are arising. So it divides like this, like the craniosacral division and thoracolumbar. So we will study it later. So all the higher functions and all the controlling mechanisms that are controlled by the central nervous system, which is brain and the spinal cord. Now coming to the nerve muscle physiology. So here we will study in detail about the reflexes. So how the skeletal muscles they react with the nervous system. Okay, the communication in between the nervous system and skeletal system. So during eating, so how we move our hand and how we walk and how we talk and how the other things like jogging, all these things. So they comes under the exercises. So our skeletal muscle is contracted during the exercises and increases the potentiation of our body. So likewise, we'll study about the nerves and muscles differently on this chapter. And the nerves, they supply to the muscle and then they act as a reflexes. It means the involuntary response that is produced from the muscle. So that may be called as the reflex. And here this is the special senses picture showing all the special senses. So this is the general sensation. So general sensation, if we categorize the senses into two types, so there are general sensations and then the special senses. So general sensations like touch, pain, pressure, vibration, temperature, so all these things comes in the general sensations. And the remaining are the four like olfaction, smell, sight or vision, audition or hearing, and then gustation or taste. So all together we are going to study in detail about in physiology. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank to the Google who has helped It means I have taken the pictures from the Google, and I am very happily um, giving this video to all my students, and who are not able to understand uh, in detail about the physiology. You can access these videos, and you can watch these videos, and repeatedly you can memorize all the things about the physiology. And thank you for this, and thanks for watching.